Hey folks, in this video or this tips video, I'd like to update you on something cool we've been working on, and it's called section headings. We've talked about sections for the content of your web page, and one of the defining factors with HTML5 is each section requires a heading to basically tell people what type of content is in that section. Here's a good example. Here's a section right here, and we have Meet Bob Smiley, President and CEO. So we know what type of content this section is going to contain. It's information about Bob Smiley, and we get to meet him. Really cool. If we scroll down a little bit, then we have My Projects, Hover to View. So it pretty much tells us what type of content is within this section right here. And we have two types. We have section headings and we have content headings. We'll get into content headings in another video. For now, we'll talk about these big ones up here because we pretty much stick or use the section headings for just the very first section of the page. You could use it wherever you like, but we don't want to overdo it because in terms of search engine optimization, the information within the section heading really lays the parameters for what type of content is on this page. So this page is obviously about Bob Smiley. Now, let's talk about the different styles we have. Each template is going to be different, and the version of template, XT, HD, FD, SL, if those versions are available, though, that may vary as well. But here's some examples of the different section headings we have. In this particular template, we have section heading 1, 2, you see we have a little cool thing below it, 3, where we have a black with a little font awesome icon, 4, we have another black sort of bar with a picture, and 5, we have a blue and a font awesome icon to match the color of the template. Then we also have the same versions, I should say, but for dark backgrounds. Now, if you want to modify the section heading to one of these other different ones that's in your page, really all you need to do is go into your style guide, styles folder. There's the heading sections, and you can use the all heading sections page as a preview. You can take a look at all the different section headings, obviously, to see what sort of styles you like. And then you can open up the individual pages below once you've discovered the style you like. And we've tried to make it really easy by telling you section heading 4. So there is a section heading 4 right there. Just open that up, and all the code is commented for you. And I'm going to suggest, instead of changing, if you're in an existing page, for example, let's go to the About page. And let's just flip it over to design view, and there's a bit about us. This is a section heading. I can tell because when I click on it right here, or click on one of the words, and I go up to my quick tag selector, there's my H1 tag, and then I scroll over to my sec heading 4. There it is, so it tells me I'm using section heading 4. If I want to change this to another style, it is possible just to change the sec heading 4 to something else, and in order to know what something else to change it to, you would open up the example page you're wanting to change it to. For example, let's go with section heading 2 because that's a different style. So I'd open up section heading 2 or sec heading 2, and there's the class right there. I could simply copy that, go back to my About page, and I could locate my sec heading and use the drop down, edit tag, and simply change the class name there and do the check mark. That's one way, but really the differences with the different section headings is a little bit more to do with the entire package, like the different, this one has this little decorative half circle and line below it. So what I really suggest you do is go into the example page, grab the entire chunk of code that's commented here for you, go back to your page, find the tag, just click it to select it like so, go to code view, and then replace it with the one you just copied, and then change the text and the text. And if you want to change the anything else, you can go and do that as well, but I suggest just replace it and then update your text. And of course, once you've got in there, you can modify it as well. There are certain things you can change yourself quite easily. For example, all the font sizes are the same for this particular series of section headings, and the only thing that really changes is this little decorative thing down below. I mean, if you don't want that, you can just simply find the div class of icon, do a select tag, and delete it, and then you won't have that little decoration underneath, and the section heading, the text will stand out for itself. But there are a couple other things we may add, and it could be a Font Awesome icon, or it could be an image. And of course, if those are things that are being used in the section heading, what you would do is you would just simply go find your section heading. Now, we'll use number 5 here for example, because it has the Font Awesome leaf. There's the leaf right there. I'm not going to go through changing Font Awesome icons in detail here, simply because I have another tips tutorial that goes through that in greater detail. And instead of repeating myself and making the video much longer, you just change the icon right here. If there is an icon associated with that heading, you'll find it within the icon class of the code. But let's back up to taking a look at this other option here where we have a little picture. That's so section heading 4 has a little image. So there's our section heading 4 right there. And here is where the image is loaded in, just like that. I suggest you figure out how big the image is first. So let's just go to our Site Themed Images Headings folder and figure out what's being used here. So we'll go to our Site Themed Images Headings folder. It's icon face. We'll just click that and it says 55 by 55. So in this example, you'd want to have your image be the same size, right? So create a new image by 55 by 55. You can call it icon face or whatever you particularly want to. You can drop it into the headings folder, and then you can relink it right here. You can just double click on the picture and browse and go and relink your new picture if you want to do that. Or you could actually even get rid of the entire image class if you didn't want to use a picture, right? And modify it as you like. It's just one of those things you can play around with a little bit if you want to, but that'll give you a gist of some of the things you can do, or how to replace those section headings with different section headings. Like I said, as a reminder, every template package will be different, and every version of the template, there may be differences there as well, but in general, that's where we keep our section headings and where you can find and preview different versions or